Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with a Mid-South Wrestling review for the 4th of June, 1983. And we journey through 1983 relatively quickly. I will be, hopefully, have up through July up for you by the end of the day. Anyway, last week's highlight of Bundy's match with Jones and Bundy versus Butch Reed is the opening part of the program. Since that's in last week's review, you do not need to hear it here. We move to Tony Zane and Johnny Rich. Watts, obviously, at least obvious to me, trying to get new talent over. Zane versus Rich, a really basic match. Rich, obviously a guy that is a baby face they could use, and they need some baby faces right now. Shoulder tackle and the attempted continuation. Rich in control, including hip tosses and holding on to headlocks and the like. And he hold on to the head for most of the next little while in the match, honestly. We see him crank down a little bit and attempted body slam that he hits, followed by a crank down on a continued series of shots, and then knee to the midsection by Zane. Zane has done his fair share of enhancement work here, not really going to rock anybody, I don't imagine, but anyway, we see several shots to the midsection there, and again, hard shots by Rich. Rich trying to find his way into a first series of victories. Zane does do a nice sell on the punch to the midsection roll through, and Rich shoots the half, gets a victory. So a baby face nonetheless. We come back to the feud between Mr. Olympia and Mr. Wrestling 2. That has been going on for a while. Of course, Olympia now in green, and Wrestling 2, as always, in white. Olympia, of course, managed by Skandor Akbar. Olympia goes to town with some punches and other strikes early. Wrestling 2 not to be outdone with a good bit of arm drags and a back body drop there. Ultimately, gets tied up, and really rather basic stuff in the early stages. Side headlock takeovers, and Wrestling 2 manages to hold on to control for a good bit of minutes. Cut off by the underhanded at this point, Mr. Olympia. Olympia not willing to take any backward steps and continues with punches and strikes. Nothing major, but basic heel stuff here, enough to keep the match going. Olympia holds on and does lock in the sleeper hold, but Wrestling 2 runs him into the buckle and does not concede the match. Shoulder tackles by Olympia, and Olympia waiting for the big knee lift, manages to hit the running knee lift and get a victory in the middle of the ring. I assume that would be the end of the feud or close to it, to have a TV loss like that on the television program. Boris Zukov against Tom Jones, not the singer. Zukov, of course, carrying the Soviet flag with him at all times. Pretty much a basic deal. Jones hasn't really found much favor in the wrestling profession at this particular moment, mainly an enhancement guy. Lots of kicks to the midsection by Zukov. Zukov, a newcomer to the stable of Skandor Akbar. He doesn't really stay that long. I think he's gone certainly by the end of the year, and probably a good bit before that. Takedown by Jones. Jones does not take too many backward steps there. Hard shots, and ultimately a toss to the outside. And then we see Jones hitting with several shots, punches and the like. Takes to the side headlock, doesn't get all he wants on that. Shoulder tackle run over by Zukov. Zukov obviously using more power than normal, and he gets a victory. That victory comes at the hands of a second rope knee drop. Then we see another Mr. King Kong Bundy match. This particular Bundy match is the Mr. Wrestling 2 encounter. Might it be second encounter, because they have had at least one before. They continue to kind of be, on a collision course. Not quite sure why they're highlighting Bundy this much. Obviously, Bundy's size versus Two's tenacity and I guess you'd say striking ability and being over with the fans and just kind of the heart. Bundy takes him down, big body slam, and he's not impressed with Two by any stretch of the imagination. Bundy takes a shot, and then we see, you know, Two managing to stand. The only thing that holds Bundy up after a big knee lift, actually two of them in a row, is the ropes, and Bundy backdrops his opponent over the top rope. The Black Ninja and Magnum TA, they are officially calling him Magnum TA at this point. So I knew that change was coming. I just didn't know exactly where. But the Magnum TA name is in line. Nagasaki attempts to use the kendo stick that he brings to the ring with him, and instead we see Magnum using it, laying out Nagasaki. Referee losing control. Nagasaki runs away, and then we see the match kind of begin after the weapons gotten out of the way. Big drop kick by TA and an Irish whip. TA with the backdrop, or tries to. Meanwhile, Nagasaki cuts him off a little bit, and we see kind of a series of shots there. The attempted Irish whip, big body slam, and the like, and then we see TA kind of come around with that. Big backslide attempt. Doesn't get all he wants on it. Does get enough, though, and ultimately we kind of see, a snapmare to bring him in, and the head scissors takeover is a pretty big deal. Tries to get all he can on that, and meanwhile, Yoshiatsu makes his way out, and TA manages to take on Yatsu and his opponent at the same time, getting the atomic drop victory. Super Destroyer and Hacksaw Duggan is up next, and as you can imagine, this is a bit of a, I don't know that I'd say a hoss fight, but certainly a pretty big deal for both guys here. Duggan goes right at him, punches, doesn't take any backward steps or quarter given. The shoulder tackle buries the shoulder quite a few times, does Duggan. Duggan, kind of brawling in the corner. Super Destroyer actually taking more punishment than average. Duggan spins his guy around and pretty well gets as much of an advantage as he can without completely glomming the guy. Duggan does eventually get the victory with his typical shoulder tackle type maneuver, but he punches, kicks, and gets his way there just as quickly and efficiently as he can. But again, he does hit that knee and the football style tackle. Main event or final match of the day. Can't really call it a main event, but Riff Rogers and George Weingroff. Weingroff relatively new, if not completely new here. I don't remember seeing him before in the area. Anyway, Weingroff, gets some arm drags, arm bars, and the like. Rogers not impressed with any of that. Rolls through, does Weingroff, and again, that's kind of where we go with it. Side headlock, take through, and blocks the hip toss, and then Weingroff hits a hip toss of his own. Ultimately, that leads to a kind of a square off between the two, and Weingroff doesn't get all he wants. Meanwhile, Rip Rogers, trying to find his way here in Mid South, he goes through several territories over the next several years, but never really finds his full role as a wrestler, more finds the role as a trainer. Weingroff does have him in the corner, gets him down, tries to keep him there to the best of his ability. Weingroff takes him over with a sunset flip at a point and goes for an inside cradle as well. They fight right up until basically the attempted close of the program, and things are where Weingroff kind of takes the several roll ups and the like, and they close the program, I do believe, without a decisive victor. Back elbow, though, by um, the attempt by Rogers. Rogers can't get all he wants on his elbow drop, and but out the back door he comes. And again, we do close the program without a victor, but more action from Mid South upcoming, and we will be back right after this.